Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. This is Edward doing my regular Friday roast. Hope everyone is doing really, really well. So, for the ones who's watching this for the very, very first time, what is this actually, this webinar about? So, I've worked more than 15 years analyzing websites in a sales and marketing perspective. So, I look at how do you get a website to convert and perform. And this is something that for me is very, very easy. When you've done something more than 1,000 times, it gets very, very easy. But what I want to do is I bring aboard a couple of guests who have a website that they want to improve, and I'm going to show you how I give them feedback for what they can do to fix their website to make it perform a lot better instantaneously. And today we have a guest from what I think is such a cool tool that I recommend everyone to check out, which is a tool that helps you basically become a better leader and track your habits more effectively. It's called the Digital Truth app. And I'm going to loop in here the CEO. His name is Rogers Vigne. And he is basically a business and marketing consultant who I'm going to let him in and let him talk a little bit about the idea. And then we're going to go and give live feedback, roast his website for how it can get better. So I'm going to loop Rogers in right away here. Hello, Rogers.
Hey Ed, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Or
Awesome,
I
awesome.
told you a couple of minutes ago, I am definitely sleep deprived, but I'm surviving, hanging in there.
It's okay. That's okay. That's what a jet setters like yourself do. You have to, make it work.
Tough
When you're
life,
jet setting around the
very
world.
tough life.
Yeah,
Now I arrived in
no,
Mexico
but
City here last night, so I think I've slept like 2 hours, but
oh wow, oh
we can
wow,
still. I still have the energy. It's just like I know that at the end of the day we have dinner and stuff
you're
like
gonna
that.
crash. Absolutely,
Exactly. How about
absolutely.
yourself? How's everything on your side?
Introduce myself a little bit to the people. I'm Rogers
Please.
Veen. I am the proprietor of the Digital Truth application. The website is www.digitaltruthapp.com, and
Yep.
it's a accountability app that I created. I'm a technology product manager by trade. I've been doing that for
Mm,
over 20 some years, working in the software development field. But I've also worked in life management and certified in coaching as well for the past, I would say about 15, almost 20 years now, doing
great.
that type of work as well. So I want to create a tool that mentors, coaches, scholastic organizations can use to help their clients, help their people, help their groups not waste time and track their progress and the things that they
Mm,
want and make sure they're operating with intention.
mm,
Track the people they're spending time with, track their activities, look at it all holistically, do graphs that's very colorful, very easy to ingest information, and make sure you can have accountability with yourself and with your group, and you can share
yeah,
all that stuff on social media through the application as well.
great. Fantastic. Let's do this. I'm going to go in and share my screen and we'll go straight into actually doing a little bit of an analysis of your site.
Okay.
So, as a little bit of context, I remember you were actually featured on this webinar a couple of episodes ago, and we then just met up one on one and did like a little bit of a session. And I thought like there's so much that other people probably can learn from what you are about to do to improve your website. So you can see my screen now, right? Is that
Yes.
group?
Yes, I can
Perfect.
see it.
Excellent. So I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions because the thing with improving a website is not just jump straight into it. We need to understand what we're trying to do, first of all. So the first question for you is always, what is the goal? And in your case, as far as I understand, the goal here is to generate leads and basically users and opportunities, essentially. Is that correct?
Right. I want to attract users to create an account, an application, and get the experience.
Fantastic. So, who is your ideal audience? Who do you want to convert on this website?
Coaching programs, mentor programs, scholastic organizations, accountability groups. Those of that nature.
Excellent. Okay. And in terms of context, because if we know the audience and we know the context, which has a big like impact too, that will make it very, very easy to give like really concrete feedback. So a typical visitor that is coming to your website, is that through word of mouth? Is it Google? Is it social media? Or like how do they typically find your website?
So I have a large following on LinkedIn. So it's
Mhm.
going to be LinkedIn audience. I've done Facebook ads, but I'm trying to get very pointed into the type of people. Like I'll do more group introductions to the application, like particular groups that's around careers or groups that are, all working towards a particular goal together as a group.
Right.
Yeah, those are the places that I reach out to introduce the application. So that's where a lot of the people are coming from, and also
Got it.
word of mouth as well. I attend local networking events here in Texas, so
Right.
I introduce it that way.
Got it. Okay. And so then when someone comes to the website, most likely then, by the sound of what I'm hearing right now, they're most likely going to be a first time visitor. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And the very last question then is, what do when someone comes to the website, what do you think they want to learn and understand before they're going to be willing to take that next step? A little bit about the product itself, of course, but anything else there that you would flesh that out with? Like I found that it's really important to say this and that, or do you see what I mean?
Um, yeah, I want them to kind of get hit with the power of what this can do for them.
Mm,
The value that it can provide for them. Like just kind of want to kind of hit them, immediately with that as quickly as
yeah.
possible.
Yes, that makes sense. So the kind of impact that your solution could have.
Right. Exactly.
Super. This is really good, Rogers. So this gives us a really good now overall idea. We can always get into more nitty gritty details, but this gives me a really good starting point for me to start giving a little bit of feedback. The very last question that I have is like, what would you say is the number one thing that you would like to improve with the website? Like, if I could
That I
figure
want
this
to
thing out, then
improve. hmm Yeah. It's just I want it to be where it's like, you know, like it become like a no brainer to at least create a free account. Like okay, this is a no brainer. It doesn't cost me anything. It's gonna,
yep,
if anything, it's gonna introduce me. It's gonna be a new experience. You know what I'm saying? So I just make it like a no brainer. Like I should definitely try this.
got it. Fantastic. So the goal is to generate new users and business. People most often come through your wide LinkedIn network and social media for now, but of course, there's going to be other ways they can find you as well.
hmm
When they're on the website, we want to make sure that we convert them into a user or get them to book a demo, um,
Yeah.
and we want to make sure that we instantly showcase the impact that this can have when someone lands on the website. Is
Right.
that a good summary, or anything else we should add there?
No, that's it. That's it.
Super. All right. So whenever I do an analysis of a website, I tend to look at three different things. There's three very important pieces to the puzzle. The
hmm
first one is traffic, because without traffic, like, yeah, you can have the sharpest axe, but if you don't swing it, you're not going to cut down the tree. So you need traffic. And traffic is the second thing that I worry about, because first, we need to have the right axe. So the first thing is we build a really good website, and the website would obviously need to tell a very compelling story for why should they use your solution. So storytelling is something that I find being the most impactful thing if you just do it right. And that also comes in with not just what you say, but how you present it, how you package all that. And then the very last thing is more when it comes to site performance. Is it loading fast? Is it easy to navigate? So on and so forth. But if you have those three pieces in place, you're likely going to be what I say in the magic top 5% where you get most of the returns. So many people that I talk to, they are not experts in building a website. They're not good at storytelling. They don't really know how to market it, but they just try, and they have a low budget, so they do the very best, which I respect. But of course, like if you don't really know what you're doing, you're gonna get very mediocre results. So my goal is always, how do we get you to the top 5 or at least 10%? So now when we have your website here, I'm going to show you some of the things that I noticed right away. The very first thing that we look at, or that we judge a website on, is the aesthetics. So right now, when I land on the website, I'm going to give your website a little bit of a rating on a few different pieces. The first thing that we see here, this is called the hero section. So this is a very, very important part of your website, because if this is bad, people aren't going to stay. So that kind of means, like, if you have a bad first impression, you're not going to have a lot of friends. So when we look at the website right now, the very first thing your eyes always are drawn to are strong colors and images. And I see right here on the right-hand side, you have like a little bit of a screenshot of the dashboard or the tool itself. Looks very nice and clean, so that's very, very good. But for a first-time user, it's not going to mean that much yet, because I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what this that I'm looking at is. So then your eyes pans here to the left-hand side. Become a true leader of yourself and others. So this is the first thing people read when they land on the website. I'm not going to say this is a bad message, but there's a lot that we can do to make this even better. Because, for instance, right now, you have here a text that could be applied to a billion different websites. Become a true leader of yourself and others. I don't really know what you do. I don't really know if it's technology, if it's a service, if it's a product. Like, I don't really know anything at all. So now we read the subheading. It says, powered by My Digital Self LLC, the Digital Truth app enables you effectively and efficiently create, document, track challenges, inspire professional personal wellness achievements. Okay, so that's a little bit better. But what I would say here, this first part, I'm very, very much paying attention to details, as you're going to see. Powered by My Digital Self, that isn't adding any value whatsoever, because that's not going to mean that I am more interested or less interested just because I see My Digital Self there. So I would just remove that. And then the message itself is at least a little bit clear about what you do, but it's still a lot of loose pieces here that we want to have a little bit of clarity on. So what I would do here is I would rate your current setup that you have here right now. It's I don't know what the right word here is, but like, you can survive with this, but you're not going to thrive with it. We of course want you to thrive. That's the goal here. So the things that I would tweak is this message here. I would make it a lot more specific. So I would say something along the lines of, we help audience achieve result. Because that is going to be a lot more attention grabbing. We help leaders better manage their team, or improve their health, or like focus on the outcome that you're delivering. Because if I instantly see that you have an outcome that I aspire to achieve myself, I'm going to be far more inclined to want to know how you can help me get there. And then the subheading should talk a little bit more about the audience, why your solution is so important, and talk a little bit about the how. There's a very, very good PDF that anyone who's watching this, if you just add your email in the comment section, and I can send it to you. But it's basically an email that showcases how some of the top startups in the world tweak their messaging to really hammer home the first impression on their website. It basically goes through, say, a bad example. How do people typically tend to try to achieve these results currently? And then the new, better way of doing that. And then you create an action statement. So then they have an example of Airbnb, for example. The bad current version is stay in a stale, stiff hotel. The better version is get to know a city as a local. And then you see like how much more inspiring the new message is when you then combine that. Avoid the boring hotel, learn about the new city as a local, and it just becomes so much more attractive, that messaging. We then have 2 call to actions here as well. Get started for free, and then we have book a demo. Now, in the first 5-10 seconds, I'm deciding, do I want to stay and learn more? It's not as common that people convert this early on. But I'm going to show you one website that I think does a fantastic job at. You mentioned there you want to make sure that people instantly feel like they want to engage. I always recommend Monday.com because of the website, because I think they do so many smart things here. Are you familiar with Monday at all?
Yes, yes. I actually have an account on Monday.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
I haven't used that much myself. I also have an
Hmm.
account, but I haven't gone into the weeds there. But what we see
Hmm.
what they do is your go-to work platform, streamline workflows, and gain clear visibility across teams to make strategic decisions with confidence. You see how their message here is very short, crisp, and you kind of instantly get at least a clear sense of what it is. And then you see stuff like this here: no credit card needed, unlimited time, and a free plan. So basically, for me, why shouldn't I
Hmm.
start my account? I have nothing to lose here. It's not going to cost me anything. I'm not going to pay anything. They don't really have any sensitive data per se. They have my contact information, but like that's a worthwhile thing to give up in exchange for just trying out the platform. So these two things might sound like the smallest detail ever, but that's a really good way to lower that threshold and get people to want to, uh, you know, take that leap and engage with you. So I would add
Right.
two things like that here as well.
Okay.
Another last thing that I would add here as well is I always tend to say this: when you have a solution where, or a website where more than 80% of the visitors are going to be a first timer, that means that they don't know if they can trust you yet because they
Right.
haven't used your solution. So that's why it's really important that you right away, in some way, shape, or form, build trust and credibility. I'm going to show you an example here of another website that did a really cool thing. This is Varsity Tutors. When you land on this website, again, very different solution from yours, but this is basically helping you connect with a tutor who can help you learn about, whichever topic that you want to learn about, but supporting learning that gets results. Tell us more about yourself. So what they do really well here is to get you to instantly engage. I'm going to actually zoom out here a little bit so you're going to see here's what it typically tends to look like. Now, tell us more about yourself. Are you a student, or are you a parent or a guardian, or are you a school administrator? So they obviously have different audiences and use case or personas that they're trying to appeal to. And based on what you
Mm.
then click on, you're then going to get a couple of questions that helps you find the solution that's right for you. Okay, so you're a student. What level are you? So now they're going to be able to take the information and then say, okay, you're a student, you're at this level, you're trying to do this. Here's what we recommend. So in just interacting with people this quickly, it's super fast and simple. You much faster get to find the information that you came to find. And it's a fun, interactive, engaging experience rather just like passively sit there and watch. So if we think about your website just for a quick second here, what do you think those different audiences like these guys here could be in your case?
Yeah, you're either an individual user, you're a group manager, a manager of people, or you're looking to set up a series of inspiring activities that you want to do for a group. So it's like a individual, group manager, challenge manager.
Fantastic. That's excellent. And imagine now if I have those options instead of you trying to convert me right away, you could have like apologies, up in the top right corner, you have the sign up. You can have that there. But the first interaction here, inspire people to learn a little bit more rather than just, try to get married on the first date, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
A cheesy
Hmm.
metaphor. Um, so that's what I would say we could add there, and that would make your website a lot more like hooking people in right away.
Right. Okay.
Another thing that I just wanted to show you, this is actually why I brought this up. Look how they also build trust and credibility here on the bottom. 16 plus years of experience helping learners, more than 10 million hours of one-on-one instructions, and more than 3,000 subjects to explore. So you see right away here that, okay, these guys seems to be pretty, pretty decent at what they do, for sure. There is,
Apparently, yeah, they've got a large audience, sample size of audience. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And it's a very simple and clean website. I do see now that they have an element here that isn't loading the way it should. They should see you saw that I have a trust pilot thing there.
Okay.
So here you see they have like you should have seen an icon of this. Varsity Tutors have more than 10,000 reviews and 4.4 stars on average. That's what's meant to load here, but it's not doing that now for some reason. There's a bug on their website.
Okay. And that
But
and that that gives them even more credibility because now they have an external party that has said that
exactly,
this place is, or this website is legit.
exactly. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So let's this here is might be the most important thing for you to improve on the website. So what I would do here is I would change the messaging, as I said, be a little more direct with what problem are you solving, who are you solving it for, and what result is to be expected. If you can capture that in the heading and the subheading here, then you are miles ahead of the average website just by doing that. Then I would have a little bit more of an engaging, interactive experience rather than just try to close the or get a lead right away. That will come, but you need to probably pull people in a little bit better first. I would then add, those like book a free demo or start a free account, no credit card needed, free forever, like something there that I just have no risk whatsoever in engaging with you. And lastly, I would add something there that builds trust and credibility. And that could, again, be just a review. It could be a quote. It could be stats. It could be a lot of different things. But we very, very quickly here want to make sure that people just go, okay, this seems like the real deal. Is this helpful? Does that make sense so far?
Yeah. In my brain, I'm already like I just took a note. That's why I was kind of looking down a second ago.
Yeah.
I was taking a note. Okay, to do that. I've never seen an interactive hero section like that. I've seen the interactive sections like a chat bot or something like that you interact with, but I've never seen an actual interactive hero section. That's interesting.
Exactly. There's so many different ways that you can do that interactivity as well. I'll show you one last example that I think is a brilliant website. I just need to remember what it's called. Here we go. This is a website that has done a phenomenal job launching. There's some really driven guys who lived and traveled around the world, and they've achieved quite a bit of funding. So they sell a product. It's a very different thing that we're looking at here, but they sell basically a health product to overcome, like if you have joint issues. So we're not going to go into too much of what they do, but we're just going to analyze how they present their solution. So you see here, they have almost 1,000 reviews and 4.5 stars. So you see how they build trust and credibility. Here,
Right.
buy now, risk-free. So you see they're lowering the threshold, 30-day money-back guarantee. All right, if I choose to buy this product, it's not the biggest deal if it doesn't work out for me because I can get my money back. So again, you see how they lowered that threshold right away. Then down here, you have a couple of logotypes, and you see like very impressive organizations, NFL, NBA, so on and so forth. Here you have the product itself. But now you mentioned there you have chatbots and stuff like that. The way these guys make interact right away is you see here a guy talking in a video. And when you click on it, you get this here.
Hi, my name is Forrest Smith. I'm CEO and co-founder of Kinyon Labs. We make laser devices that get you back to doing what you love to do pain-free. How can I help you today?
So, in 2024, people are extremely impatient. You're not going to have them on for a long time at all. And so what Forrest basically says here is like, hey, this is what we do. Let us know what you want to learn more about. And now you have these different options down here. What is the Move Plus? What makes it different? What is the science? Or engage and talk to their team. And then based on what you click on here, let's just say we click on what makes it different.
What makes the Move Plus Pro different from other light therapy devices out there?
We don't need to watch the full video. You get the point. Stuff like this is, if we want to make sure that you have a website that's going to be a freaking home run, stuff like this is going to be great. Because there's some stats that showcases that 80 to 90% of website visitors today in 2024, They prefer an interactive, engaging experience rather than just passively read. And they prefer to watch video instead of just text and photos. So this
Yeah,
here,
this is actually Jotform. I used to use this on my personal website back in the day, actually. So I've never, like I said, I've never seen it in the hero section before. So that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
it's super smart. And there's tons of examples of sites that do these days. And we're experimenting with this. But what we typically always tend to see whenever we build a new website, and we always recommend adding video content because we see, first of all, Google likes websites with videos a lot more than just without it. People tend to stay on a website longer. And this is a really good metric for a website. How long do people actually stay on your website? Whenever we add video, we see that those number tends to increase quite a bit. And then the very last thing we see is if you have watched the video, you have gotten multi-sensory learning. You've heard something, you've seen something, and that means that you remember more of it. So you're far more inclined to actually want to engage. And as you see here, I can then click on buttons and I can say, start a free account here or book a demo. And then it can have a calendar. Like everything can be done with those videos. And plus, here's the best thing. Normally, when you have video content on a website, you pay a videographer a couple of grand and they come to your place, or you have to come to them and you shoot. And then it's a couple of weeks. They need to do edits and transitions and effects and revisions. And it's a process. This is the most low production video that you can probably ever do. He's shot it with an iPhone, I think. And it's just a nature background. No fancy lighting, no transitions, none of that. So it's basically zero production cost. And then you have the most interactive, engaging experience you can imagine. So stuff like this, I would highly recommend that you add to the site, to the hero, especially.
Okay.
Cool. Let's dig down a little bit further now. So I see that you have a menu up top here, which is good. You have login, you have sign up. But the most likely thing people are going to do once if you have been able to capture that attention in the hero section, they're going to scroll. So down here, I see now you have a section that is, and again, you know that I'm going to be just brutally honest here. You're like, oh, let's go. Here we have a section that I think is very, very plain and basic. It's not a bad message per se. Use this tool as a digital mirror to see your better version. That I think is a really good message. And then you have the graphics here that basically showcase a guy looking better in his own mirror. But I'd still, as a visitor, if I come to your website and see this here, I don't really know what it is yet. And then down here, the Deal of Truth is the premier platform from gaining understanding, clarity, direction, connection, leadership, and accountability for yourself and your group. I mean, I still don't really know what this is. And by now, I've been on the website for 20 minutes. Or not 20 minutes, 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. So if I've been on your website for 20 seconds and I still don't really get what it is yet, then we have a problem. So this is a really typical thing that I tend to see. That whenever someone builds a website...
Yeah, and that's not... And it wasn't. I thought that. I guess when you're working on something for so long, I'm working on this project for almost 7 years. Yeah. You know, to get to this point, you're so inundated with the details. Then you're thinking you start what I call start talking mid sentence, maybe a little bit, and maybe I didn't realize how much of a gap there was between what I understood this thing is versus what the average person, new person coming in is going to see.
Yeah. Absolutely right. And again, like this is the feedback here is just so you can know how to improve. It's not that I'm like blaming you for not doing better. Like you're very good at other things, but websites it's a specific little skill set. What I would do here instead. So imagine this here. You are learning about a new app, a new solution, software, whatever it is. The very first thing that you think about is like, what can this do for me? You don't really go into like, how does it work? No, first of all, you want to know, what can this do for me? Is this even relevant for me to learn more about? So I always tend to have the section beneath the hero section should be about like, what problem is this solving? So I'm going to show an example here. This is like a little bit of a template that we tend to use. So it's going to be very generic, but I would build something like this here. So here you now see, like, here's a problem we can help you solve. Do you struggle with improving your health? Are you struggling to be kept accountable? Are you like, you highlight some of these frustrations and problems. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning with the Airbnb example, what are the unattractive state or scenario that people normally start from before they find your solution? So you list those things here, so I can just clearly see, oh, here are the things that I have too. Like, I am struggling with these things. And then in the future, I can get these outcomes instead, which is, of course, going to be desirable. So, I mean, we can create something like this here in less than 5 minutes on your website. We just need to brainstorm what are the pain points and what are the typical results that your solution gets, and just write them in bullet point form like this. And then here in the bottom, also then adding just a couple of quick stats that just proves the results. Because as you mentioned in the beginning there, the trick that you want to find is how do you showcase how impactful this is. And I always just tend to say, showcase a couple of results that your early adopters have gotten from using your solution. That's why it's so useful to just pour a lot of time and attention into your initial users, because you can get so much valuable data that you can showcase on your website and so on and so forth by doing so. So having something like this here, I think, would be super simple for you to add. And I would replace that with this section. Then I think I'm like, oh, now I see the point. Okay, so how do we get there? Oh yeah, here you have the stats. So this is perfect. This is absolutely brilliant, these stats. So yeah, basically adding those stats down here, and we have a really good second section, which really is meant to just make sure that people understand why should they care about you. That's okay. A little bit further down here, now we go build a reflection of your best self. Platform features. So here you have a couple like very good information, but again, I just think the presentation here is a little bit lackluster. It's a little bit so-so. I'm going to go back to Varsity Tutors because they explain this in a really good way. Down here. So here you see unlock your learning potential. Personalize your experience, quality and convenience, more effective learning. And then you have here what's included. Here's what you get with their solution. And again, this is a very different solution to yours. I'm going to show you one more. There's another website that we built that I think is just both beautiful but really good, strong messaging. It's this site here, Patent Tax. So they basically help you develop patents. So some of the things that they do to build trust and credibility early on is they have featured on and partnered with. So you can see here a bunch of credible partners, and they've been featured in a lot of credible media outlets as well. That's the way that they build trust and credibility. Then here, why choose us? So very simple, beautiful screenshots. No experience required, easy to use, affordable for everyone, simplified learning. So they show a couple of things like this here. And then they have a section like this here. Why is patent so important? And then when you hover above them, then you get more text. Very simple and easy effect. That means that it's so much better packaging and presentation, not too much text and information, but you get it if you hover above them. So imagine here, if they would just have all of this text in one go, it would pretty much look like this. But because we added that flip function or effect, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
what was the name of that site again?
It's called patenthacks.com.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
we worked with these guys and built this website for, I think it was about 2 years ago. It's a great guy. And he's definitely someone who's a very, very creative entrepreneur. But just like you, he had a beautiful website before, but it didn't really convert that well. And that's why we focus on, when we build a website, we focus on how do we get this to do the job it's meant to do, not be, you know, a uh, a pig in a nice dress, so to speak. How am I doing with my
Yeah.
metaphors so far?
You're all right. You're doing all
All
right.
right, all right, beautiful. So back to your site here. So those are some super simple and quick ways that we just can add to the website. You can even, so here's the cool thing that I've discovered. You can get ChatGPT to build the code. So you just say, you then just add the content. You have the code, you add the text, and then embed that on your website. By the way, how you built your website? Are you doing this yourself? Do you have a
Uh,
developer?
yeah, I have a developer, so this is the code actually sits in the GitHub. You know, saying it's React.js front end. Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. We'll go a little bit further down here. So now we're going to the pricing. Here, I think you've done a really good job of adding what's included, what they get, and you can see like a little bit of difference here of the different.
Yeah, but they gotta go way down here to find that out, though. Yeah.
That's true. That is true. So we should probably on top here have just something that is like pricing. And that doesn't need to be its own individual page, but that could just scroll them down here. So they get to that faster in a way.
Okay.
But I mean, this here is pretty good. There's a couple of things we can do to make this a little bit more stick out a little bit better. I'm going to show you here one Tenerife Dev. I'm going to show you here another website where I think we built a really nice way that we presented this. So this is another website that we built. Also very similar to you in terms of they had a software solution. But here you have book a demo. You have our pricing. Down here you see again some of the trust and credibility powered by Stripe, Discord. You have Trustpilot, Google reviews, so on and so forth. You have the menu here you can engage with. But if we click our pricing, it sends them right here. And you see here when I hover above it, it gets like, you see how a slight little effect with the shadow, and then it like moves up a little bit. So these small little details can make a big difference. But if I would want to improve your pricing page, again, it's good information, but it looks a little bit stiff and stale. So compare these two pricing pages to each other, and I think this here looks a lot more like, yeah, this seems like a proper company much more when you add those small little details.
Okay.
So if you want to check that one out, it's a great website just all in all. This Tenerife Dev. And then you have video content, you have all this stuff here. Okay, we are getting close to the end of your website. So here we have what people think. Fantastic. I really like even the way that you're presenting this here, where I can just like, it rotates automatically. The only thing here I would want to have is just I can pause it somehow, because now it just rotates without me. Like if I'm starting to read this and then it rotates before I even can finish the sentence, there should just be some form of pause here, so it doesn't do it automatically so fast.
Okay.
But very, very good presentation. Great testimonials that you have too as well. And a cool thing that you're doing here as well is a lot of people they're very hesitant about adding testimonials because like, I don't know, like I want to protect the privacy of my users and customers. But you're kind of doing that here. You just have the first name and like she's a senior or this guy is a senior business analyst. So their privacy is very protected. At the same time, you have the effect of showcasing how people love the solution. So very, very good. Here's another good thing that you have. You have a Q&A, which is very, very good. I can click and learn more. So it's very, very good for SEO to do something like this. The last thing that I would recommend doing here is I'm going to show you another site, which I found very, very recently here that did a very smart thing. Let's see where they are. I think it's this one here. You're going to look at a landing page. So when you come to the bottom of a website, and if someone hasn't really converted yet, now here is where you have like what we call a last chance to save it. It's like the like clutch attempt. So right now on your current site, it just says sign up for free. What you would want to add here instead is like something that just says, here's the last chance. If you're not sure where you want to start, do this. So this is not the example that I wanted to find, or it kind of has it. Want this simple, frictionless system for more qualified sales appointment, apply and schedule a call. So what you would want to have there is just some form of offer. If they haven't booked a call already, try now a different call to action. So what I would add here as a text would be like, not sure where to start? Do this very quick, simple thing and try it out. So that would be like a last way to save them from just now coming here at the bottom. They don't see an offer and then they just might drop off. But instead, if they come here, not sure what you're at the bottom, do this, or here's an offer that can make you just get a little bit of a better idea if this is for you or not. Download, and this is where you can have like download this free ebook, or watch this free tutorial, or sign up for the free account and give it 5 minutes to play around with, something like that. But make it like an attractive offer, like, okay, you're at the bottom of my website, there's not going to be more information, click here to take this action just to get started. That's what I would say. So as a full summary here, I'm going to give you like a little bit of a grading here on the current website. For me, this right now is a 2.5 out of 5. The design is not horrible. It doesn't look like it's, completely trash, but there's definitely things you can package a lot more attractively. The biggest work you have to do is a little bit on the messaging, but the good thing about that is that it's so freaking easy. So as my summary, how we get you to a world-class website. The hero section, we should just make sure that we have a much, much better idea of what you're doing, first of all. Because when I read your initial messaging now, I don't really get what it is. Mm-hmm. Anyone who's watching this recording as well, please leave a comment for if you got what Roger's actually doing, because that's going to be very, very useful feedback. So anyone who feels willing and compelled to leave a comment, whether you understand his initial messaging right now, that will be very, very welcomed. I assume by you as well, Rogers, because that's like useful feedback.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting feedback.
Yeah. I would add an interactive video right away, and I would add a couple of elements that build trust. A quote, result that someone has experienced, or adding those, as we looked at Monday, free forever, no credit card needed. Then you have like a very, very compelling initial messaging, I would say. Beneath here, start talking about the problem you're solving. Showcase the difference in transformation I could get by using your solution. Right now, that is very, very unclear so far. So that would be a big step up by just adding that, and it's super simple. Then I would also go into talk a little bit more about the benefits, as I showed you with the patent hacks and so on and so forth. I would also have something here that showcases how this works. Okay, you sign up for your account, you set up your goals and metrics, you did it, like you explain a little bit more how it works, so I can see myself using the solution and see how easy it is. And then add a couple of more call to actions in the bottom, like a specific new offer that might work a little bit better than the, get a free account. If they scroll all the way at the bottom and that hasn't worked, well, then try something new and different that might get them to convert. So if we do those things there, if we implement that, I think your website is going to be so ahead of the curve. There's always details to that with like, how do you present it? What colors do you use? What effects and so on and so forth. But what I would love to do with you, Rogers, if you're interested, is if you have a developer in-house, you can, of course, share this recording with him so he knows what to do. We have it all here recorded, which is great. And I would love to have another conversation.
Yeah, I have a UI designer. I actually hired a UI team out of the Ukraine that helped me design the site, both this landing page and the pages for the app itself. So yeah, this would be good feedback.
Excellent. What I always tend to say is it's very, very good to get feedback on what you have right now. But once you've done some changes and iterations, when I give feedback on that, it's going to be even more useful a lot of the times. Right now, it's a lot about the direction and structure of the site. But once you've followed that structure, then the feedback is rather like, how do we say this the best way? Which is where you get a lot of you get a lot of benefits from. So the other few things that I looked into on your website as well, I'm going to just quickly show you. I did a little bit of a test here of the performance of your site. So I used Google's Page Speed Insights for this. So here, this is another thing that so many people just simply forget, which is such a shame, because a really good website needs to load in less than 3 seconds. Your website right now, if we look at this here, it has a performance score of 58, which is very, very close to being dangerously slow. Your current website right now loads in 6.4 seconds. And again, this is on average, depends on how fast and good your Wi-Fi is, but that's more than double the time that people expect a website to load. So I think this has caused a couple of people dropping off your website who otherwise could have stayed and converted into a customer even. So all of these small little details, it might sound like what's the difference? But it's going to make, this is your 24/7 salesperson who works when you sleep. That's why I always tend to say that make sure that sucker is as good as he can be, because then you getting new customers is going to be so much easier. That's why I think it's such a worthwhile thing to not cut corners with a website. And I know that so many people, out of just like budgetary concern, they hire a freelancer from Pakistan or so on and so forth. And very often they are great with tech, but they're not good with storytelling. They don't know sales and marketing. And because of that, you get a website that might function, but it doesn't tell the story in the captivating way that it needs to.
Okay.
So as feedback here, like what are the main things that you will want to implement after this chat?
Well, for me, a lot of the stuff you talked about from the hero and like the first 2 sections really jumped out at me, in the first 2 sections, because in those first 2 sections, that's where that's kind of the make or break area. You know what I'm saying? Some people may not scroll at all, or some people may scroll like once, right?
Exactly.
And so that's the window I have to get their attention. So I really appreciate the feedback you gave me on that. I got a lot of ideas that came to my mind as you were talking. With that, I wasn't aware of the issue with the load time for the page, because I hadn't experienced anything like that. I hadn't gotten any feedback that it was loading slow. And I'm talking about not just for desktop, but also for the mobile, because it's mobile friendly as well. Yeah. So that's something I need to pay a little more attention to. Yeah. And also where you talked about this is the problem that we solve. Saying that's like okay, you have these problems. This is how this solves the problem. I talk about what this thing has the ability to do, but I need to change the posture of the messaging from this is what I could do for you versus this is who we are, versus okay, you have this problem and I want to help you solve your problem, and this is how I can help you solve your problem. Exactly. The message kind of changes the posture. So those are the things I was really paying attention to, picked up on as you were talking. Also, making the elements, not making the interaction, definitely a lot more interaction. Some of the interaction I didn't know you can do, especially in the hero section. But even slight interaction like the flipping or whatever, it's not taking up more space. It's not making it more flashy or anything like that. It's not even adding more overall content. It's just how you're engaging with the content, So those are things that I kind of heard as you were talking.
Well, the good thing here is like you have a good business mind yourself too. So this is why I always find that when you find someone who's like really nerdy about something, I always tend to dig really deep into that relationship, because I'm going to give you ideas, suggestions, and like every single time that you and I meet, there's probably a new website that I've found that is like, oh, you got to see this too, and all this too. So like, I do that all the time. You have far better things to focus on. So that's why I always tend to find these few specialists. Like whenever I catch up with that guy, I know I'm going to get some new juicy stuff that I've never seen before, but that I'm going to love. So that kind of circles back to my kind of issue with hiring a freelancer for $15. Yeah, I get a cheap website, but it's not going to be ahead of the curve. It's going to be like every other website. But all right, I know you. We've already stuck here for almost 50 minutes, but really appreciate that you came on and were willing to be roasted like this. I hope
not a problem. Actually, this is all good for me. And plus, all publicity is good publicity. So
yes,
I appreciate the time.
Well, yeah, I've heard so many funny comments on that phrase, but so what I suggest we do is share this with your team, and they can do some work on it. And then I would love, and it's probably going to be fun for the YouTube channel and the webinar to see, okay, now I've gotten some feedback. They did something with it. Now what? Like, do another round of this if you want. But like, you and I have
I'm game. When I make my edits, I'll definitely reach back out to you and say, hey, we made a bunch of edits that you suggested. What do you think?
Super awesome. All right, my friend. Well, appreciate you a lot, and hopefully this was useful. Anything else you need, you let me know. For everyone who attended today, go and check out his website. It's again digitaltruthapp.com. For me, it's just such a cool. I think so many teams could definitely benefit from what you do. But we need to fix up the website there, and then I think it's you're gonna get a lot of conversions from it. You have very, very big potential if you just tell your story the best way there. So to round this up, we do this webinar every single week. If you want your website to be roasted, leave a comment or reach out to me. You can connect me with me on LinkedIn, or you'll find me everywhere if you just Google my name. But I want to make sure that you get the very best strategy for your website for free. So whoever has the courage to come on here, we have now a schedule with guests for the next few weeks who's going to be on here and take the same feedback as Rogers did. So reach out to me if you have any interest in being featured. And thank you again, Rogers. We'll talk soon again.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Happy weekend, everyone.